I won't say this to her face, but my sister is, she's like my hero, because someone I can look up to, and she's the person who gives me strength when I need help, and she's just like the best person in the world for me, and it's just, she's indescribable. She's like the best person I know.
I was at a softball game. I used to play competitive, like really competitive softball, and I got out to run for one of the girls, and after I slid into third and I got out and I kind of got up, I was like, oh, my back kind of hurts. That feels kind of weird. And then that night at dinner I was kind of like, oh Mom, my back's really hurting. She's like, okay, we'll go home and we'll take some Tylenol, you'll sleep, you get up the next morning, it'll be okay.
The next morning she got up unable to walk at all and had to crawl into my room to get me because she was in such amazing pain.
It was one of the most terrifying experiences I think I've ever had in my entire life.
It was a 2-year process from that moment to the moment of diagnosis. We had to go through and go to multiple doctors.
We went to a spine doctor, my pediatrician, and nerve doctors.
They sent us to chiropractors. They sent us to physical therapy. We went to orthopedic doctors.
And all these different doctors, and everyone was like, oh, I have no idea. I did so much physical therapy, and everyone's like, oh, you just pulled a muscle. You pulled a muscle. And finally I went to one doctor, and he's like, well, do any of your other joints hurt? I'm like, you know, my fingers hurt sometimes, my toes hurt sometimes. He's like, what? Why haven't you told anyone this? I was like, I never thought my fingers and my toes could have anything to do with my back pain.
And he started asking the right questions, and he said, she has juvenile arthritis.
When I first found out that Jennifer had arthritis, it was kind of shocking, I guess, because normally you don't hear that teens actually have arthritis.
I was stunned. I didn't understand, like, how could a girl her age have arthritis?
Jennifer's a sophomore in high school, and all her friends are talking about, how well they did on the PSATs and what colleges they want to go to. And they can go anywhere they want. They can pursue any avenue they want. As a parent, it's heartbreaking to know that your child has to think about arthritis every single day, and that impacts the decisions she makes. It impacts the career path she chooses.
When I have a flare, my joints tend to swell very, very large, like ankles the size of softballs, literally that big. And they get very stiff, and I'm unable to move them. And when I move, it feels like this really tugging, kind of like, oh, if I do that, I'm gonna rip something pain. With my fingers, they tend to lock and jam and decide not to move anymore. Like, I physically cannot move them.
The emotional part of this has been the most difficult thing that we have to deal with, because we try to deal with the pain. We try to do the things that we can do to manage the pain. But managing her emotional state is even more difficult.
Some of the treatments for that are needles that are about this long, that when she gets an injection, it stings for over 15 minutes. Nobody likes to get shots. There's a lot of pills, horse pills about this big that you have to take, and what those are biologic drugs that actually affect just the damaged joints.
I wish that I could help ease the pain more, or at least make it go away, because it's something that I hate watching, and it's just awful, because when she gets her shots weekly, sometimes it's worse and it hurts for the medicine, the way it works and whatever, and I have to sit there and listen to her sometimes scream, and I just can't stand it, because it's just not good.
I can't play softball anymore. I manage the varsity team at the school, and I play JV sometimes, but I can't play competitively. I can't do as much as I could have. I can't run anymore as much. I do marching band still, but marching band's very painful on my joints, so it's hard to keep going with it because I'm always in pain.
Through this year, what we've done is worked on a different set of rehearsal patterns for her, where she's able to come off the field and sit down if she needs to, or go get medicine, or kind of be on light duty, as you want to say.
As far as school goes, I can't get up and go to school sometimes because I literally cannot move out of bed. So if it's a point to where it's just my knees and my back and it's a matter of walking, I can use the wheelchair that we have, and I can be in the wheelchair and still go to school and still write and participate.
And then she missed a lot of school, and I didn't know why. And then through talking to her, I realized that she had arthritis. And with that, my first reaction was, okay, there's no way this kid's going to be able to do this. There is no way. She has missed so much school. So much so that I went to her and said, honey, why don't you take this next semester? And she said, oh no. And she stayed. And not only did she stay, she ended up with an A, which is hard enough to get an A in honors geometry, but to overcome what she overcame was incredible.
There was one time when I wasn't in a wheelchair, but I did have my braces on both of my knees because my knees were hurting, and I had to use the elevator because I physically could not walk up the stairs. And I had one of my best friends with me, and we got in the elevator, and I clearly remember kids outside the elevator like, oh, why do you get to use the elevator? There's nothing wrong with you. And just getting in the elevator, the door shutting, and just bawling because no one really got it.
And I had to like hear these things when she came home from school, and it's like, you shouldn't be treating my sister that way. It's something that a sibling shouldn't have to hear about their sibling, because it's like, I want to be there and protect her from people who are just saying awful things to her, and it's difficult because people are, like, make fun of her, and it's like, you can't make fun of her because it's something that she has no control over. And
I'm very optimistic, and I don't worry about those people. Those people don't know me. I don't need to be friends with those kinds of people. I try to surround myself with the people who are positive and help me stay positive even when I'm trying to be negative about the whole situation.
I was so impressed with her friends and the kids in the class. I mean, one of the things that I love so much about Cuthbertson is we have great kids here. Jennifer's support group seemed to be extraordinary.
Jennifer's treated as any other girl in school is treated. Everyone loves her. She's the nicest person. You can't not love her when you meet her because she just gives off that nice, friendly vibe. She doesn't have anyone who really doesn't like her, I don't think.
There's this big band competition at the end of the year. It's called Bands of America, and it's a marching band competition, and you go and it's like the best bands in the country.
And at the competitions, you're adjudicated, and you can't have holes on the field. So, if she's having a bad day, which happens, she still has to put her braces on and take whatever medication she can and go out there and do it.
And I think it was like 3 days before that competition this year, I had a huge flare, unable to walk the day of the competition.
So she was pushed around in a wheelchair the entire competition from place to place. She would get out of her wheelchair to stand with the band and play her instrument. She would sit back down. She'd get up and try to practice marching and sit back down. But she really couldn't function very well at all without excruciating pain.
I got out of my wheelchair and I marched the 10-minute show
without missing a step, and then came off the field and fell to the ground in tears because the pain was so excruciating.
All I was thinking about is she alright? Is she okay? Is there anything I can do to make her feel better? And I started bawling, and I just couldn't stop because I needed to know she was okay, because it was like the scariest moment of my life, because I didn't know if she needed me there or I pretty much needed her at that point, because I needed to know if she was okay or not.
But she finished the show. So, it's one of those things where, you're proud to see her do that accomplishment, but at the same time it tears your heart apart because, the poor girl is just in so much pain.
I see myself getting a degree in psychology because that's just what I love to do. I want to feel like I've accomplished something and made someone's life better. Hi, my My name is Jennifer Barber. Thank you for watching this special presentation. I wanted to bring awareness to the difficulties that I and many others like me experience on a daily basis with juvenile arthritis. The reality is that arthritis is the nation's most common cause of disability. It affects 50 million Americans, including nearly 300,000 children, some as young as 18 months of age. I need your help. On May 12th, the U.S. National Whitewater Center will be hosting the annual Arthritis Walk. The Arthritis Walk is a signature fundraising event for the Arthritis Foundation, but it's not just an event, it's a celebration of year-round movement to help prevent and treat arthritis. Every year we get together to celebrate movement and make a positive impact on the lives of people living with arthritis. In an effort to support the mission of the Arthritis Foundation, I have started my own team called Jennifer's Joints in Motion. You can also make a difference by joining my team and walking with me, or by donating funds to help reach my goal. Starting tomorrow during lunch, you can buy a footprint for $1 to show your support. You may also purchase a floating ball that will join up to 2,000 others as they get dropped into the white water and float to the finish line. 2 winners will be picked from the pile, so you'll have 2 chances to win a Kindle Fire or an iPod Touch. Please help me and the countless others across America who suffer from arthritis. Let's move together, Cuthbertson. Let's move together.